Hi, I'm Wilson. I'm I'm currently grade 11 and I'm from Shanghai. And my research topic is the economic impact of the pandemic on U.S. fast food industry. So at first I wasn't sure about what I'm going to research for. And since my instructor was teaching the economic uncertainty brought by the pandemic, so I began to know this serious problem and effect caused by the pandemic, and I can feel it as a citizen in China. So I wanted to know more about it. And since at that time I was quite uh, I prefer to eat some fast foods like McDonald's. So I began to research about some relate the fast food and the pandemic together. And I decided to search about US because I knew that the US was like the fast food there was developed and there was lots of fast food chains there. So my research journey begins. So during the introduction part, my instructor told me not to be too long in the introduction, and also at the beginning of the introduction I should put some remarkable facts to attract readers' eyes. So the facts I put here was the unemployment during the April 2020, which was remarkably high comparing to the previous time period. And so I divide my research into several parts. And first part, I was doing the revenue, and I found the annual report of 2020 of several companies. And at first I was finding about McDonald's and Starbucks. I'm finding that their revenues was cut because of the pandemic. But the issue is that I was not being comprehensive enough, because I only look at those big, huge firms that everybody knows, but I ignored those smaller fast food chains in the US. And these small chains and big chains must have some difference. And in the after the session with my instructor, I began to know that, and I choose to study more companies. And also I was analyzing their quarterly report in 2020, and I choose more companies. And then I know the critical periods of significant revenue decline was in the April. And also I found some franchise closures by looking at their quarterly reports, and it turns out that there were some most stores of those chains were temporarily closed during the pandemic, and there was some long-term closures. So we must say that the pandemic has some long-term effect. Some fast food stores, they were still operating, but they have changed some operations. For example, they began to have more delivery and more takeouts and more on-tap methods to serve customers. So this is also the change brought by the pandemic. And not only finding companies losing revenues, closing franchise, there are also some companies that were earning more money. For example, Domino's Pizza. And I was quite surprised at first, and so but I decided to solve that question later. And then I do the inflation of prices, and I found that both the grocery product price and fast food prices was going up. And here's some graphs illustrating that. So those grocery products prices were increasing. Also, this deep line was for the limited service product prices, which was increasing quickly. And also, one thing related to the price was the customer behaviors, and I found there was some panic buying behaviors by customers in grocery stores, and less people were consuming fast foods. And the panic buying behaviors was also causing supply chain disruptions. And another important thing in my research was the difficulties of fast food workers. So first, the food sector workers were all having like high rate of unemployment, and the restaurant sector had the highest. From this graph, we can know that it's just approaching 25%. And not only that, those fast food workers, their main difficulties was the risk of infection, because they were working in lots of close proximity, which is easy to spread the virus.
This is a graph illustrating Los Angeles fast food industry. Lots of workers were working in close proximities.
And also they were facing retaliation when they complained about limited protection provided to them. So back to the previous, why was Domino's Pizza earning more money? And later when researching about the employees, I found that Domino's Pizza was developing more technologies to replace some of their workers. They also have some AI model to help people to order their products online and improving their digital service. And also they have some driverless deliveries. So they are developing lots of technologies that were useful during the pandemic. So that must be a factor that they perform well during the pandemic. And for the method of my research, I think it's more like a literature review, and I just research and look about lots of materials. And the first issue in my research, as I mentioned, is that I didn't do a comprehensive research for the revenue of companies. And another issue is that I was just too much focusing on listing data instead of conveying a message. So I just laid lots of data, and people are not necessarily remembering them. And so what I should do is to like use more words to illustrate the relationships. And the key findings of my study is that the fast food industry in the US must be negatively impacted by the pandemic. While it is also transformed in some ways, there is more delivery and takeouts and other kinds of digital service happened in the fast food industry, and the pandemic must have put them forward. So this is a valuable experience of research, and I think the skill I learned from this experience is that to be more well organized. So first, when solving a big problem, you need the outline and list of small questions to do in a logical way, so that you can have a more specific overview of that question, so you can answer that better. So the next time I meet this kind of question, I will not be like confused and don't know what to do. And from this experience and this skill, I think I will be doing more researches in the future.
Thank you. That's all my presentation.